The DC Extended Universe got off to a rocky start. 3 movies in, they had no critically acclaimed films, and with Batman v Superman, had made a movie that divided fans more so than any in superhero movie history. And while Wonder Woman finally showed us that DC still knows how to make a great movie, they still seem to be having a hard time with their behind-the-scenes activity. Ignoring the fact that The Flash was supposed to start filming months ago and has lost 3 directors, and the fact that Justice League is going through $25 million in reshoots, DC is also currently facing some kind of shakeup that we don't have all the details about. There was supposedly fake confirmation last week that Ben Affleck was out of Matt Reeves' Batman movie and that the film would be set outside the DC Extended Universe. But that was apparently corrected, and now there have been a bunch of announcements about some Joker and Harley Quinn movies, one of which will in fact be set outside the DCEU, and have a new actor playing the Clown Prince of Crime. With all this up in the air, it may seem like DC is starting to fall off the rails, but I think this could actually be leading them to a very creatively interesting opportunity: DC anthology movies. Today's episode is all about why I think this is where the DC movies are headed, and why it's a great idea for the franchise. I'm Christian Pearson, and you're watching Superhero Studies. On the chance you're unfamiliar with the term anthology series, it basically means the stories in a series aren't necessarily connected, or have any of the same characters, or are even in the same worlds. Generally though, they'll have similar tones or themes or be in the same genre. The Twilight Zone is one of the most well-known examples of an anthology series, the Cloverfield movies are a budding anthology series, and BBC Netflix's Black Mirror is, in my opinion, the best anthology series ever made. Don't watch it if you require happy endings, though. The reason I think DC might already be headed in the direction of anthologies is because of the news and rumors we've gotten in the last little while. One being that Matt Reeves' Batman might be set outside of the DCEU. No idea if that's actually going to be a thing, but I'm interested in the movie either way. I think it's going to be pretty good. Then there's the announced 1980s Joker origin movie being produced by Martin Scorsese, which has allegedly been confirmed to be set outside the DCEU. I say confirmed loosely because it seems like DC doesn't confirm anything until the movie's a month away. Finally, there were whispers that DC was planning a Superman Red Son movie, which would have to be set outside the DCEU because it's an alternate reality storyline where Superman landed in Russia instead of Kansas. These ideas all sound really cool. On my video about superhero horror movies, one viewer, Negavenom, suggested DC do a Batman horror anthology about the Caped Crusader investigating crimes during Halloween as he faces off against Grundy, Scarecrow, and Man-Bat. Hardcore fans of the current DCEU, would you not love to see this as a side story set outside the core universe? I know I would. One main complaint I've heard about this idea is that it'd be too confusing for audiences if we're getting different versions of the same characters in close succession. But DC already has a great story they could use to introduce audiences to this alternate realities idea. And it's a story that they already have in the works to become a movie: Flashpoint. For those unfamiliar, it's a storyline where the Flash creates a parallel universe where Batman isn't Bruce Wayne, but it's Bruce Wayne's dad, and Bruce died in Crime Alley as a kid. It's also a reality where Themyscira and Atlantis are at war with each other. The specifics of the universe aren't really important for what I'm talking about, though. By the end of that movie, the Flash would presumably be back in his own reality, but the movie could introduce audiences to the idea that the DCEU has a bunch of other universes in it. So it wouldn't really be the DCEU, it would be the DCEM? The DC Extended Multiverse, I guess? Which would also keep open the idea that the different versions of the characters in the anthology films could potentially cross over with the core universe movies. We know DC is a big fan of multiversal crossovers in their comics and TV shows. I'm absolutely not saying DC should abandon their core universe of movies. There's still a lot of hope for it to become great. They've currently got a Nightwing movie in the works by Oscar-winning director Adam McKay, who has a strange but exceptional filmography with The Big Short, Step Brothers, The Other Guys, Talladega Nights, and Anchorman. Plus, the Aquaman movie has seemingly had no behind-the-scenes issues, and Conjuring director James Wan is a pretty proven filmmaker himself. I personally love his movie The Conjuring 2. It's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. And Patty Jenkins is still on board in planning a follow-up to her critical and box office hit, Wonder Woman. These movies in the core universe could still happen and keep the Justice League franchise going. The anthology movies would just be a way for DC to really stretch their legs creatively while not taking on any risk of a director ruining their main franchise. Think if Suicide Squad had been set outside the DC universe. DC wouldn't now be stuck with a Joker that a lot of people don't really like. I personally don't think we've seen enough of him to really judge if he's going to be good in the role or not. But I guess we'll find out in the Joker Harley Quinn movie, or Suicide Squad 2, or in Gotham City Sirens. Man, they've got a lot of Jared Leto Joker stuff planned. What I'm really getting at here is that DC doing anthology movies would kind of be a way to please everyone. They could continue improving and making the movies in their core universe for people who are already invested, and they could make some potentially groundbreaking films with alternate versions of their extremely popular characters. Honestly, if they embrace the anthology angle and do it really well, I could see myself becoming a bigger fan of the DCEU than the MCU. My bias here being that I'm a huge fan of anthologies. But let me know what you think of the DCEU branching off into anthology series. Do you like the idea, or do you think they should focus all their efforts on making their core universe great? Let me know in the comments below. Or let me know what anthology movies you think it would be cool for DC to make. I'm sure there's some great ideas in comics out there. And click the subscribe button and the bell to get notified when I release more superhero rants in the future. I've been Christian Pearson, and thank you for watching Superhero Studies.